Sulis. Out of necessity, this talk contains assumptions and interpretations because we are dealing with ancient history and have no contemporary written accounts. In her story, I am changing the bias towards the goddess. At Ostara, we honour the ancient British goddess Sulis. Ostara is celebrated at the Spring Equinox, the point when daylight and darkness are equal length, generally recognised as the start of the spring. Sulis's name has been passed down to us through generations, but to find out exactly how the ancients saw her, we need to piece together evidence and whispers, interpret meanings, and do visioning work. In this way, neo-pagans work to bring back our ancient goddesses for the modern world. The town we know as Bath was once known as Sulis, named after the goddess. Conquering Romans referred to it as Aqua Sulis, the waters of Sulis. The town's name was later changed to Bath by Christian rulers attempting to obscure this pagan past. This place, with the only truly hot spring in the British Isles, must have felt very special. Her warm, healing waters gush forth at a generous rate of 1.3 million litres a day at around 40 degrees, a gift from the earth, from the goddess. The goddess's name gives us some insights into how she was seen by the ancients, although there is some debate about the origins of the word Sulis. One of the most popular theories is it originates from Old Irish Suli, meaning gap or eye. We know the Celts thought of life starting from a seething cauldron, and it is possible to imagine them seeing the eternally flowing hot water emerging through a gap in the earth and being reminded of this. Bodies of water were seen as portals to the other world, a magical place that held the power over life, death, and resurrection. Natural springs were particularly sacred and often presided over by a goddess, a powerful being able to travel between worlds and harness otherworld power in ways that could be beneficial to the people. An alternative possible root of the name Sulis comes from the Old Welsh word for sun. Celtic people, unaware of our modern perspective of the earth, saw the sun sinking into the water at night, possibly returning to the other world to be charged with light and energy by the goddess, but also warming the waters that came up from below with her nourishing and healing energy. It is possible to see some link between the people's lived experience of the sun bringing fertility and health to their lands and these sacred healing waters. Another proposed interpretation with Proto-Celtic roots is to see well, perhaps another way of saying wisdom. The sun certainly brought the light to help people see clearly. There is evidence that an eye doctor could be found at the temple to Sulis in Bath, which relates directly to the idea of seeing well. It is more likely that Sulis was called on to see into the future and called for in acts of divination. A devotional stone was uncovered on the site with an inscription to Sulis from a Haruspeck, which is a Roman official specially trained to divine the future from entrails of sacrificed animals. This shows us that Sulis was called on for prophecy during the Roman period at least. We have a magical gap or portal into the other world from which healing, nourishing and purifying waters gush, an all-seeing eye that holds an omnipotent wisdom, and the life-giving power of the sun. I see some link between these different concepts. The sun is often seen in mythology as an all-seeing eye. A gap is something that can be looked through to see hidden places, or a portal into another world. These different interpretations of her name have shaped how we view the goddess today. There is evidence that tribes travelled and camped by the sacred springs long before the Romans discovered them. Archaeological evidence has found flints and food remnants in abundance around the area. I wonder if any Norfolk flints from Grimes' graves travelled there with our ancestors. There is also evidence of an early man-made causeway across the marshy ground to the spring, which is of pre-Roman construction. It is told around 850 BC, Prince Bloodad is recorded as curing his leprosy at the springs after being led there by his pigs. Pigs were a totem of the otherworld to the Celts. Bloodad, who went on to be one of the early kings of England, is mentioned in several ancient texts and had magical powers. He may be a disguised version of the Celtic sun god Bel, and is possibly the face seen on the pediment of the Roman bathhouse. When the Romans arrived, they took the name of the ancient British goddess Sulis and added their goddess Minerva, creating a new deity, Sulis Minerva. It was common practice to help the Romans convert locals to their culture and beliefs, and to help the Romans understand about the local deity, to add a Roman goddess name with the indigenous goddess name. The local goddess name was usually tagged on the end. In this case, the powerful and beloved Sulis remained the primary goddess. They created a grand temple to Sulis Minerva next to the spring, with a larger-than-life-size gilded bronze statue of the goddess and a perpetual fire fueled by coal rather than wood, another gift from deep in the earth. The statue must have looked magnificent and awe-inspiring, with the gold ablaze in the light from the fire. It is possible to visit the Roman bathhouse, but the name Sulis is now brushed aside with the emphasis on Minerva and Roman traditions, with a sad lack of information on earlier beliefs or any geological information. But even in the Roman remains we see the name Sulis written large. The curse tablets are famous amongst the remains. People ask Goddess Sulis to protect their valuables or for retribution, often against thieves. I personally feel this is more indicative of Roman culture, where the goddess was believed to be a higher power watching over the people and dishing out punishments and rewards, rather than the earlier goddesses like Sulis, who were seen everywhere in nature, embodied in natural objects infused with her spirit. There are actually 3 springs that emerge close to each other in Bath. The Cross Spring is thought to be the site where the people visited to honour Sulis, and has been given official status as a sacred site. It is the only spring where the water isn't too hot to bathe in directly. The site is currently managed by a company called Thermae Bath Spa. Before the COVID outbreak in 2020, it was possible to pay to bathe in the Cross Spring. Currently, you can only access it if you hire the pool at a cost of £400 for a maximum of 6 people. So this gift given freely by the goddess has been claimed and monetised by individuals for personal gain. Sulis may be part of or connected with the similarly named Sulivae. Evidence of these triple aspect mother goddesses are found throughout the Celtic world, and they are associated with healing, fertility, regeneration and maternity. This altar found on the Roman bath site uses their name in the inscription. For me it seems that the Sulis is connected with evidence of the Sulivae. Sulis certainly has a connection with healing, and through the sun with fertility. Among the artefacts excavated at the Roman baths, there are some models of bronze and ivory breasts. The fact that these were left as an offering to Sulis suggests a connection to maternity. Possibly she could be called on when hoping to conceive, or to ensure a healthy supply of milk for your baby, or in thanks for these gifts. It is easy to find a link to regeneration with her waters coming from below the ground and the association with the other world. This plaque to the triple goddess was found in a place called Bathwick near Bath, and I think it's a representation of the Sulivae. I think Sulis fits well with the Spring Equinox. While it doesn't mark the sun at the height of its powers, it is on the ascent, the point when it conquers over darkness. All around we see fertile nature rising in the greening of our lands. Sulis has a vibrant rising sun energy needed to take us from the first shoots at Imbolc to the blossoming of Beltane. She tips the balance into the lighter, warmer months. I think of the idea of Kundalini energy rising and see her in the sunrise. Here in the east, in Lowestoft, the sun touches our island first each morning, and we are the first to feel the life-giving warmth of Sulis. When meditating on Sulis, I had a vision of myself dancing in nature, full of energy, and when the energy became overpowering, leaves sprung from my hands, branches and leaves grew. I became a tree, growing and expanding upwards. It felt so uplifting and expansive. This pulsating wild energy I could feel. This energy has the ability to heal, to change, or to purify. Our body temperature rises at significant changes. When we ovulate, when we are pregnant, when our bodies are fighting infection. We also experience heat during the menopause, when women's bodies go through big hormonal and physical metamorphosis. Heat from the sun can cause plants to grow. Fire has the power to cause dramatic changes. I see this warmth, the transformational heat, as the rising energy of Sulis. The sun nourishes us with her vitamin D. Being outdoors and feeling the warmth of the sun can have a very healing effect, especially in modern life when we can spend long hours indoors. It is easy to see how our ancestors saw the value of the sun and the value of these precious healing waters, and knew they were linked to the great sun goddess Sulis. The purification and healing we get from this heat can help us move forward with Sulis's rising energy, help us achieve our goals, help us get started in a new direction, push us towards enlightenment and expansion. We can also experience her as the all-seeing eye, someone who could be called on to bear witness when justice is needed, a wise goddess to bring things back into balance, to offer protection and to point out the way forward. Sulis is part of the nature around us. She is the sun above us. She is the warm waters that heal us. She is the mother that nourishes us. All of nature embodying her spirit, her energy, her life force.